All right, hey guys, taking a look now at number 45 on the 9-5 homework. Another one dealing with area. This one area of a triangle, so we're going to have to deal with it just a little bit differently. I've got the problem on the board back here. So we have a triangle whose base is x plus 20 and whose height is x, and we know it has an area of 78. I think it's 78 yards in this case. We'll worry about the label later. So we need to write an equation for this and then solve it. I'm going to approach this one just a little bit differently, simply because the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height gives me the area. I don't want to deal with that fraction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an exact copy of that triangle and add it on to it. All right. So I've essentially, what I've done is double the area. So now the area of this thing, instead of being 78 times 2. So now I'm looking at a figure that has an area of 156. So I'm dealing with a little bit larger number here. But then at the same time, I'm not going to have to worry about dealing with that fraction. And what I've got here, if I make my dotted lines solid, what I've got is a parallelogram now. And the area of a parallelogram is the exact same as the area of a rectangle, and it's base times height. All right, so I've got this parallelogram that has an area of 156. So I can write the formula for that. Base times height equals area. All right, so now I've got my equation. If you watched the 43, the question 43 video, you might be able to take this from here. And I'd encourage you to do that. Go ahead, pause, walk away for just a minute, give this one a try. But if you want to look at it, we can go ahead and do that. So as I look at the left-hand side, again, I've got to distribute. Now I can distribute, normally we have that x in front, but I can distribute from this way as well. All right, so I can distribute that x here, and that'll give me x squared plus 20x equals 156. So now I've got it written more as a polynomial. The next step is I want to get it equal to 0, so I subtract 156 from both sides. No like terms, so I end up with x squared plus 20x minus 156 equals 0. So now I've got that polynomial. Now I want to factor that left-hand side, and I'll be honest, I don't know what the answer is. I know I shared it, but I don't remember what the answer is. So I know I'm looking for factors of negative 156 that add up to 20. So two numbers that when I multiply them together, I get negative 156. But when I add them together, I get positive 20. So if I start looking at the factors of negative 156, I see that's even. So I'm going to divide it by 2. And that gives me, so I've got negative 78 and 2. All right, those multiply together to give me 156, but those don't add together to give me positive 20. They add together to give me negative 76. 156, I think that's divisible by 3. Yeah, so that would be, I get 52 there, negative 52 and 3. Those add together to negative 49. That's not positive 20. Let me try 4, see if 4 goes into it, and it does. So negative 39 and 4. Negative 39 and 4. Those add up to negative 35, not positive 20. 5's not going to go into it. I can tell that because it ends in 6. Let me try 6. 156 divided by 6. Oh, I get 6 goes into it, and I get negative 20 and 6. Now those, all right, oh, I'm sorry. No, negative 26 and 6. Sorry. All right. So those add up to negative 20. I want them to add up to positive 20. So that tells me just to switch these signs. So instead of negative 26 and positive 6, what if I do positive 6 and negative 6? Again, those two multiply together, give me negative 156, and those two added together give me positive 20. So I'm ready to factor this thing now. I've got x plus 26 and x minus 6. Right. And as some of you said, that's, once you get it to this point and you're looking for those factors, especially when we start dealing with some larger numbers, a lot of you said, well, it's just kind of a guess and check. And you're right. All right. For some cases, yeah, it is just a guess and check, and you just kind of work through. I know Eli Winger pointed out that we kind of skip over this. Don't worry about the numbers that add up to 20. Find me the factors at negative 156. That's going to be a much smaller list than all the numbers that add up to 20. But now that we've got it factored, I've got two numbers basically multiplying together to get 0. My zero product property says that one of those two things has to be 0. So either x plus 26 has to be 0, or x minus 6 has to be 0. I solve this one. I get x equals negative 26. And solving this one, I get x equals 6. And again, just like we saw something similar to this in the last problem. If you looked at 43, if you didn't look at 43, let me explain. Negative 26 is a solution to this equation. It makes the equation true. But when we look back at our original problem, if x is a distance, if x is a height, it can't be negative. I can't have a triangle. We go back to our triangle here. I can't have a triangle with a height of negative 26. So even though we didn't do anything wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. Again, it's a solution to the equation, but it's not an answer to the question. So now we know that x has to be 6. All right. So this triangle has a height of 6. Well, what's its base? Well, again, we know that x is 6 now. So I can go here and replace x with 6. And 6 plus 20 is 26. This triangle has to have a base of 26 and a height of 6. Okay. So hopefully that helps. Again, just a real similar to 43, dealing with that triangle. Instead of a rectangle makes it just a little bit more challenging. But hopefully this helps you. We'll talk to you later. Take care, guys.